lose cash, and this is what we must not let them do, when we lose cash, if we lose cash, and you've only got central bank digital currencies, the computer will know what it is you're trying to do before you even do it, and they will prevent you from doing it. If, for example, they say you can't leave your house more than 5 miles, you try and buy a bottle of water 6 miles from home, you won't be able to. I'm not kidding. That's so many reasons why you should retain cash. It's offensive that the politicians believe that they have a right to all of your information at all times.
So this gentleman here, he's saying that's why you should retain cash, because they're trying to lose cash in central bank digital currencies. He's half right, half wrong. You don't want to retain cash just because the government's moving to central bank digital currency. You want to find a different alternative. The different alternative is Bitcoin. This is happening across the globe. CBDCs is shaking up the world. Some people are mad about it, but you do have an alternative. Have you educated yourself on Bitcoin lately? And with that, what's happening, crypto crew? Sean's coming back at you with another cryptocurrency video. You know what we do, whether the market's pumping or dumping, the Bitcoin bros are here for you. Getting straight to it, taking a look at our first update from Seth_Finn. The Bitcoin 3-month chart is my go-to chart when investing long term. There's no noise. I think the best and safest way to make gains in the crypto space is to invest long term. His target for 2025 remains 150K to 250K. If you look here and you're just looking at the RSI, he's right. There is no noise. It just goes up, comes down, up, down, up, down. When we come down to this lower bound, and if you look at the RSI, every time we're at this lower bound, the RSI bottoms out around that 20 level. Every single time, the RSI bottoms out. Every time, the RSI bottoms out. So right now, if you just buy and hold until this gets overbought again, and this seemed to put it in a higher high as far as this level down here, when this comes up above this 80 level, that'd be the time to sell or exit the market. So all in all, this is a buying opportunity. And you see, as the years progress, when we bottom out, 2 years later, top. Bottom out, 2 years later, top. Bottom out, 2 years later, if history's any indication, you know the rest. And then an update from Caesar. You may not like it, but 36K is next. So what he's talking about with Bitcoin, we'll get to the charts here, but we're going to look at the Pi cycle top indicator. And why this is looking bullish is because note the orange line, and the orange line is the 111 daily moving average here. And Bitcoin was suppressed below this line all through the downtrend here. And look what happened. We actually just broke above it and came back and flipped resistance to support and had a major bounce off of it. So this is a bullish indication, and we are going to be seeing some more upwards momentum. And every bear cycle before, when we get back above this and we hold above it, that was definitely bullish for Bitcoin. Now looking at the charts, what do we see? We're looking at the Bitcoin dominance, and the Bitcoin dominance has just ran into some macro resistance. If we look back to see, well, what are we talking about? Look at this trend line right here. This trend, the trend's your friend to the end, and this trend line has acted as resistance once and then support twice, and we fell through it. Bitcoin fell off a cliff. But now we're back up and hitting this resistance here. If we zoom into the price action, what do we see? We see the VPVR. We hit this upwards resistance as well. But the one thing to note is that we got through a lot of this noise on the VPVR. And right now, this could just be holding right here. Now, will Bitcoin come back down and retest lower levels? That's a possibility. But all in all, the Bitcoin dominance definitely is looking healthy. It's up to 47.7%. Could we see higher? Most definitely. Looking back at the charts, once we get past this last level here, how much resistance do you really see up until you see some noise right here at 58% back here in the charts? There's not much here. Bitcoin just falls off a cliff. So if Bitcoin busts through this, we could be seeing almost a 60% Bitcoin dominant. This looks like an inverse Bart Simpson pattern right here, and this chop could be over and Bitcoin could be getting ready to make a major move. Looking at the Bitcoin price, this chart is very, very noisy, so let's clean it up really quick so we can just show you what we see. Now, looking at Bitcoin on the macro, we see a 1, 2, 3. And now some people have said that this was a 4, then a 5. This was the ABC reversal. But another thing to note is this could be 1, 2, 3. This whole move here could have been an irregular ABC correction. And then this is what we're starting right now, this 5th leg. Now, how long is this 5th leg going to take to play out? Look and see how long each one of these legs prior played out. The first leg, 196 days. The second leg, the pullback, 259 days. The third leg, 399 days. And then this irregular correction is 574 days. And that's a whole bear market. So if this is any indication of how long this 5th leg is going to be, you see 196, 259, 399, the number keeps getting higher. So if this takes almost 800 days, higher than 574, and we don't hit this upper bound until then, this could be taking us to that $200,000 Bitcoin price target. But this could take some time to get there. As you see, this is all the way until January of 2025. That's after the 2024 halving, almost a year after the halving. Bitcoin has shown cycle after cycle that the halving and the new highs tend to correlate. As you see here, this is the Elliott wave, 1, 2, 3, 4, 5. So we could still be in this 5th leg. And then afterwards, we may actually get a corrective phase again, the ABC correction. And Phil B is saying something very similar. By combining expecting halving dates and days to cycle tops and cycle bottoms, alongside extrapolating regression of the price data, it is possible to use this model to predict where Bitcoin price may reside at the peak and the trough of future cycles. And it looks like this. As you see, he's detailing out in this chart here for you, but he goes a little deeper and shows this here. Assuming Bitcoin's price peaks and troughs in a similar fashion to before, here is the key outcomes for the next 2 cycles based off this model. $200,000 by 2025. We just showed you this in this chart here. So this definitely correlates to what Phil B's saying. And then in 2029, he's calling for $500,000. So going back to Phil B's original chart, this will be the $200,000 peak. You got a bear market. Now this bear market does come back down to roughly these highs, coincidentally, around $70,000 high. So Bitcoin can blast through it and come back down and retest that $70,000 peak, flipping resistance here into support before having that bump and run up to $500,000. So could we overshoot this and could it hit $1 million? Most definitely. That could be in the cards by 2030. But that could happen after the 2032 halving as well. Because as you see here, if you just bounce back down and come back up, you see that $1 million target is right here. That could be between 2032 and 2035. What do you think? Do you think that Phil B has a point here? Do you think that 200,000, 500,000, then $1 million is what's coming over the next 3 halving cycles? Please comment below. With that, I'm Sean with the Bitcoin Bros. You guys like this content, go ahead and smash the like button. If you haven't subscribed to the channel, go ahead and show us some love. We appreciate the support. With that, that's all I have for you today, and I'm out.